Hello, everyone. So, there's this video that's been placed on my heart, and it's been probably almost 2 months now. And it's a very, very heavy topic. So, I've really been trying to avoid it just because I know that, death is something that is so very difficult to talk about and understand and just really come to terms with. So, before I say anything, I just want to start off by saying that um, if you lost someone, my heart hurts deeply for you. Um, that might sound cliche or just something that I put out there, but I sincerely mean it. I really just love people, and no matter how much time you spent with someone, the loss never is rectified, if that makes sense. So, if you lost someone, by no means am I saying to not grieve or to not um, feel like you're entitled to being hurt by it, because there's nothing that we can do, that we can say, that we can even begin to put together to make death seem any less traumatic than what it was or what it is. So I wanted to put that out there first. Now, this video I'm doing is basically to just give you a different perspective on death, and to feel like there's hope outside of a death, and that life doesn't end, and their memory doesn't end, and their purpose doesn't end. So, I have some notes. So if you see me looking off, it's not just me random, it's me looking at some notes. So death is final. There's, other than afterlife, there's no coming back. And even though that person is gone, that love does not end. It's not like someone dies, you have a funeral or you have a mourning process or a period, and then all of a sudden that connection that you've had with that person is no longer there. And I think that's what makes death so hard to grasp, because we've had these connections and these feelings and these memories and experiences with a person, and now all of a sudden that person is forever gone. You can no longer pick up a phone and share in something. You can no longer hug them or embrace them or make a new memory. They're gone. Once they die, that's it. But that love is still there. And our minds and our bodies try to process how to have something that's so strong but not have the other connection to it. And so, again, if you lost someone, please grieve, mourn, but the purpose of this video is to cherish life. um I feel it's so difficult to properly say goodbye to someone if we didn't truly maximize the moments that we had in life. So every moment that we have with someone, whether in person, on the phone, it's so vital that we try to make the most of each and every moment, because we never know when that last moment will be here. And then we're left wishing and hoping and regretting that we didn't spend more time or cherish those times that we did have. Um, Ultimately, we have connections. We have connections with people, and we have connections with life. And again, those connections don't stop because that person's gone. Um, it's this emptiness that's there, because it's kind of like, two batteries. There's a charge, and now one battery isn't there, but there's still that remembrance of that charge being there. So it's like, an arm that just hanging there. It's like, I know it's supposed to be working, but it's not working. So it doesn't make you be okay with not having a working arm. It just makes you kind of get frustrated because it's like, look, I know you're supposed to help me pick things up. I know you're supposed to help me do things. And now I have to learn to live life with something that should be there, but that isn't. Um, so also, there are those deaths that are, as I would put it, unfair. Um, First being murder. Those deaths are definitely unfair. Someone chooses to take life literally in their own hands and end it. Um, we have cancers, we have accidents, whether car or, nature, situational. Um, those type of deaths, because they're so outside of what's normal, it makes it even more difficult for our brains to process that. Typically, we think of life being long, where, someone may live to be 100, hopefully, even 80s and 90s nowadays. But when life is cut short, or when life is ended by something outside of natural causes, we are left wondering why. Why our loved one? Why this age? Why this year? Why this time frame? Why? All these whys we're left with to try to make sense of why that person is no longer in our life. Old age is something that we are hopeful for, but no one is ever guaranteed to live a long, fulfilling life. Again, this is why we must cherish every moment, because you just never know. You never know if a kid is going to live to be a day old, a month, a year, if someone's going to live to be 20, 30, 50, 80, 90. But who's to say if someone dies before the time that we think is optimal, that they did not fulfill their purpose? That's the direction that I want to shift to, purpose. Who's to say that if, heaven forbid, my daughter lived to be 10 versus 30, that she did not fulfill her purpose? I think because we hold on to the notion of long life, that we think anything outside of what we deem to be long, that life was not fulfilled. And I'll be the first one to say, my sister was murdered at 12. And for a very, very long time, obviously, I felt like her life was cut short, and I still do. But I've come to realize that although her life was only 12 short years, there was so much purpose in those 12 years. Her life impacted so many within those 12 years. And 24 plus years later, it's impacting so many more. So I say that to say, I do believe there is something called connected purposes. I just made that up. I don't know if that exists. I did not look it up. Maybe Wikipedia or Google will have it out there by the time you look it up, if you do look it up. But connected purposes. So my sister's life was cut short because someone chose to murder her. In her 12 years, she loved and cared and sacrificed for so many people. She was that person that everyone could just lean on. She was their protector. She stood up to the bullies. She loved selflessly. And now here I am fighting for justice. And when I first really started publicly fighting, I had no idea what that meant. I had no idea what that looked like. I didn't even know. Honestly, I did not want to be in front of a camera. I did not want to be in front of the world. I didn't even want anyone to know my name. But God had a different plan. And now I realize that this connected purpose is my sister's life. While it ended, there's still life that's being birthed through it. Um, and that's through me and my purpose. I would not be fighting for justice for other people. I would not be advocating for other people. I would not be making these videos trying to enlighten and motivate and inspire and encourage other people if I never went through what I went through with my sister. So, this purpose that I have, which is to help people, has been ignited through the loss of my sister's life. So while my sister's life tragically ended, there's something that was birthed in me at a certain time, which is now. And so I just want you to really think about, certain people in your lives that may have died, whether through natural causes or those unfortunate situations that are just beyond understandable, and think about what in their life or what out of their life birthed new life. Yeah. So, sorry. Uh, so yeah, so their life ending doesn't stop the purpose. Connected purpose, continual purpose. That purpose, it's kind of like a domino effect. They lived, and now there's something from that we're doing. And the only reason why we're doing it is because their life ended. So if that life ended short, if it ended mid-range, if it ended long, there's still a purpose that comes from that. And I think if we're so consumed by the loss, instead of cherishing the life that was there and the memories and making the most of who that person was, we'll never be at a place to truly embrace and appreciate what is next. Um, okay, so when we look at these traumatic deaths, and I'll use myself because I can speak from experience, and I don't ever want to put words in anyone else's mouth, put thoughts in anyone else's mind, because we're all different. But when you look at a traumatic death, we get so, myself, I'm not saying we, looking at my sister's traumatic death, it's so easy to get so trapped in feeling like life isn't fair. And I'm not here to say life is fair, and I'm not here to take away anyone's experience. But for myself, I had to really look at life and realize it's not that life isn't fair, because we don't have the blueprint. We don't have the map to what everyone's life is going to be, what it should be. Only God knows what that is. And so to say life isn't fair, we kind of put ourselves in a higher position to say what it should have been. But life is what God has made it to be. And even in these traumatic situations, and I'm just going to say death in general, because death is so hard to process, even though it's bound to happen, there's no escaping it. The minute you are born, you are destined to die. So there's no escaping it. But death in itself is traumatic because we can't really fully process it. Even with the traumaticness of death, I can't say life isn't fair, because there's things that are within my control, and there's things that I have to really come to terms with to say, wow, this person is no longer here, and I may not like that. I may not like the manner in which they were removed from earth, um, what can I do to make the most of the time that I had with that person and the time that I have left? Because even though that person is gone, I'm still here. And to some people, that may seem selfish. It may seem like a selfish mentality. But again, connected purposes. If I was so consumed with my sister's death, I could not be here standing strong as I can be, and only praying that I get stronger by the day to say, how can I help the next person? How can my sister's story inspire me to inspire other people? How can my sister's unfortunate death bring about change so the next person won't have to go through the same thing, or to make baby steps to set a footprint for somebody else to complete the path so we can ultimately all have a better life? If we don't ever address the things that are affecting us, then how can we collectively have change, positive change? So, I'm sorry, I use so a lot. I say all this to say, cherish life. We don't know how much time we have with the people that we love, with the people that we cherish the most, with the people that, when we think about them no longer being here, there's nothing we can do about it. Um, cherish those moments, cherish those people. Make time for the people that are worth being in your life, because there's some people that are taking up space that other people should have. They're taking up time, they're taking up energy, and the last thing you want is to, give someone who is stealing your peace valuable time that could be going to someone that is giving peace. You don't want to, leave granny out because you want to hang out with these friends who are just toxic. I think if we're more diligent in how we spend our time, who we spend our time with, making the most of those moments, forgiving quickly and being aware of when to let go, whether it's let go of people, let go of situations, let go of feelings. Um, Me personally, I had to really learn to forgive a lot of people because it was affecting me. And I was taking time and energy away from the people that I love, my kids and my husband, and I didn't even realize it. And one day I woke up and was like, you know what? Like, I can't change that. I can't change that. And one day I'm not going to be here. One day they're not going to be here. And I want to have as much time on my clock dedicated to those people that I love than not. So I'm really learning to cherish every single moment. And the moments that, I can't, whether it's because I'm grieving or, just having a moment, I have to really understand how much time I'm giving to those situations. So I just pray that we can make the most of all of these moments, because life isn't guaranteed, but death is. And one day there's going to be someone among us that we love and care for so dearly, and they're just going to be a memory. And we're going to look back and analyze the moments that we could have had more time, the moments we could have had more phone calls, more niceness, and we don't want to be living with regrets because we know we could have done more. And you just don't want to show people their roses when they're gone. Show them the roses while they're still here. So grieve who you need to grieve, and cry, mourn, understand that it's unfortunate that they're gone, and there's nothing we can do about it, but be diligent in cherishing them while they're still here, and knowing that once they are gone, their memory lives on. And there's something we can take away from their life that can be a purpose that can help other people and make a difference, because we're all connections. We're all connected somehow. And we don't want to be that missing link because we're so consumed by the loss that we can't enjoy the life. So thank you for listening. Be blessed, cherish life, and be great.